Alright gang, we're going to go ahead and set that failsafe up right now. Something to consider, probably important, actually it is important. Whatever receiver you're using, just double check the operating voltage for that. Let me show you a little bit about that. I'm going to be using my 324 for this. Okay, if I come down to the operating specifications for it, 3.7 to 7.4 volts. 3.7 to 7.4 volts. Why does that matter? Well, this radio system will allow you to set a low battery voltage, a failsafe. I really like that. And let's not be afraid to use it. Let's use it. So, but what we do know is that 3.7 volts, this receiver says, nope, not playing anymore. We don't want to get there. So let's go ahead and start this up. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my 7PX. All right. I'm going to turn on my test rig. There it is. This is my test rig when I'm out range testing and doing different things. It floats. There's no metal on it. It's a hot ticket. Anyway, let's go ahead and set this up. I'm going to go to user menu, failsafe. Did you see that? User menu, failsafe. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to set this to default. Oops, right there. 3.8 volts is as low as this system goes for failsafe. Okay. And remember, this is 3.7 volts. This checks out. So they're actually protecting these receivers. There's a pretty good chance that they've got everything covered here. Just double check. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and first thing we're going to do is set the channel 1 failsafe. We can set a 1, 2, 3, and 4. You could actually, if you were on channel 3, you could actually have the boat go rich. Well, you could also lower the throttle. Okay, so at least you have options. Anyway, so let's failsafe the steering. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go full right steer. You can see my flag. I'm going to go full right steer, and I'm going to press this button. This button right here actually sets the percentage. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set the. Actually, I'm going to set those at 0 so you can see that. I'm going to go, because I'd been playing with this before. I'm going to go ahead and move the steering all the way over. Steering all the way over. And press this button. 100%. Okay. What does that do? Well, if this receiver loses signal, or the system loses signal, I'll turn this off, it's going to go into that 100% right-hand steer condition. I'm going to turn this back on. Why'd I choose that? Well, here's why I chose that. If I have a fail-safe condition, I want my boat to turn tight right-hand corners. Well, think about it. I don't want the boat doing big, gentle turns. I certainly don't want them doing it fast. I would rather have it doing tight right-hand curves and give it time to go around before it decides to find the beach or rocks or whatever. And part of that is to slow the boat down. Let's do that next. In our user menu, we'll go back to failsafe. Here is the failsafe for channel 2. Okay, that's our throttle. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just put a little bit of throttle into the boat, maybe just a little bit. Here's my little bit. Okay, we'll call that maybe something close to a high idle. What do we end up with? 16%. Okay, cool. I don't know if that's exactly where I want it, but probably. I just want it at a high idle or a low throttle condition. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Let's watch the flag. It's a little confusing. There's a lot going in here. Here we go. There. Here's our throttle. Here's our steering. I'm going to go ahead and crank that. I'll go over here and turn it back on. I'll come over and turn it on. Bam. So, what happens right now is, if I go into a fail-safe condition, lose the signal on this radio system, I'm going to get a tight right-hand corner at low throttle. Okay. I suppose if the boat's really hauling, it's in 20 hydro, dehydro something, and it goes into a really tight right-hand condition, you might want to adjust that a little bit, and the boat might flip over or something. I'd take that over the beach any day. So, okay, I just want it, and you know the nice thing about a tight right-hand condition, at least the CD can yell a boat, you know, out of control, whatever, on the back straight, front straight, left side, right side, whatever, but at least you have a general idea of where that boat's going to be instead of it cruising across the entire length of the pond. We've all been guilty of not setting these up, but Futaba makes it so easy. So let's just do it. Next, I have LIFE pack in here, 2S LIFE, 6.6 volts. So on our failsafe, I'm going to take that voltage up to 6 volts, 5.9. All right. I don't want this LIFE getting below 6 volts, essentially. So if something happens, if this battery starts tanking on me, when that battery gets to 6 volts, there's still enough power in here. Remember, the receiver runs at 3.7 volts. It'll be a low battery condition, and it'll fail safe. If I lose signal, it'll fail safe. Remember, right-hand turn. If, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for a minute. If I was using a 4-cell nickel metal hydride or NiCad, I'd have this set to 4 volts, 1 volt per cell. Same for a 5-cell pack, 1 volt per cell. So 5 volts for a 5-cell nickel metal. LIFE, 6 volts. LiPo, 6.4 volts. Okay.
So Mike, what if I was using a regulator?
That's a good question. What about this? What about a PS10 or any voltage regulator? It matters. As a matter of fact, this system here would use this voltage regulator. If I wanted to put the voltage regulator on here, now what do? My voltage regulator runs at 5.1 volts. That PS10 runs at 5.1. I really like that. It will hold 5.1, period, until the battery gets down to that voltage. Now remember, my LIFE is not supposed to get below 6. So we have an issue, right? Number one would be maybe you don't use a voltage regulator with a fail-safe unit. However, I'd rather lose the battery than lose the boat. So let's say my battery starts to tank and I have my fail-safe set because of my voltage regulator, which is 5.1 volts to 4.5 volts. When this system gets down to 4.5 volts, it'll fail safe. The battery is still going to have enough voltage to turn the fail safe on. The battery might not survive this, but that's better than having the boat not survive it. So yeah, if I'm running a regulator, I am running a 4.5 volt fail safe voltage. Okay, does that make sense? So thanks for asking, Brad. Anyway, there's no wrong way. Let's use these. Futaba makes it easy. It's available on pretty much all their systems, pretty much the same menu system. My 4PM has it. I'd have to look at the three channel radio I have here. I don't remember. But in any case, if you don't have control of all the channels, take control of the channels you do have or the voltage ranges you do have. Make some sense of it. Hopefully this video helps and you can just have safer, funner boating as your boats don't have fail-safe conditions. Kind of strange. I've had plenty of situations where somebody will say, my boat, it fail-safed. I don't really know if it fail-safed. All they know is it quit, or it slowed down, or it took a little right-hand turn, and or left, or whatever. With this radio system with a right-hand turn, a sharp right-hand turn, and a low throttle condition, you're going to know if you get a fail-safe. That's a good thing to know, right? You know, go ahead and use it. It's easy enough to do. Let's go ahead and set them up. Anyway, that's all I got today. Just a simple fail-safe setup on the 7PX. Works the same way on the 7PXR. Works the same way on the 10. Easy stuff. Let's make it happen.